The news broke quietly at first. No flashing red sirens. No dramatic press conference. Just a carefully worded announcement, shared with fans who have followed her journey from Hawkins, Indiana to sold-out music venues across America. But within hours, the story began spreading across entertainment desks and social feeds nationwide. Maya Hawke, best known to millions as the sharp-tongued, fast-talking Robin Buckley on Netflix's cultural juggernaut, has announced a brand new album, along with an intimate performance date in San Francisco. And for fans of both television and indie music, this isn't just another celebrity side project. This is something much bigger. Because Maya Hawke is not simply stepping into a recording studio for a vanity experiment. She has been quietly building a serious music career for years, one that critics have increasingly taken seriously, one that fans describe as raw, poetic, and emotionally fearless. Now, with a new album on the horizon and a deliberately small venue performance planned in the Bay Area, the timing raises questions about her artistic evolution, about the future of her role on Stranger Things, and about what this next chapter means for one of Hollywood's most intriguing young stars. Tonight, we break down what we know, what this means, and why this moment could mark a turning point in Maya Hawke's career. Stay with us, because this story goes far deeper than a simple album announcement. Powerful 60-second hook. When the face of one of the biggest streaming phenomena of the last decade announces new music and chooses to debut it not in Los Angeles, not in New York, but in an intimate San Francisco venue, it's not random. It's intentional. For nearly a decade, Stranger Things has dominated pop culture. Since its 2016 debut, the Netflix series has transformed young actors into household names, sparked global nostalgia for the 1980s, and created a loyal, multi-generational fan base. When Maya Hawke joined the cast in Season 3 as Robin Buckley, she instantly became one of the show's breakout characters. Witty, awkward, authentic, and unapologetically herself. But behind that iconic sailor uniform and sarcastic charm was an artist with ambitions that stretched far beyond Hawkins. And now, with this new album announcement, Maya Hawke appears ready to step into a spotlight that is entirely her own. So why San Francisco? Why now? And what does this signal about her future, both in music and on television? Let's rewind. Background and context. Maya Hawke was born into Hollywood royalty. The daughter of actors Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman, she grew up surrounded by film sets, scripts, and the machinery of fame. But those who have followed her closely know she has often spoken about carving her own path, separate from her parents' legacy. Her breakout acting role came in 2019 when she joined Stranger Things Season 3 as Robin Buckley. At the time, the show was already a phenomenon. Created by the Duffer Brothers, Stranger Things had revived 80s horror nostalgia while delivering emotionally grounded storytelling that resonated with American audiences. Robin's character quickly became a fan favorite, especially after a pivotal scene where she came out as gay to Steve Harrington, a moment widely praised for its authenticity and sensitivity. That storyline cemented Hawke as more than just a supporting player. She became part of the emotional core of the series. But while audiences were watching her on screen, Hawke was quietly building something else, a music career rooted in folk, indie rock, and confessional songwriting. Her debut album, Blush, released in 2020, introduced listeners to a vulnerable, introspective side of the actress. Critics noted her lyrical storytelling and understated vocal style. Her follow-up projects further established her as an artist willing to explore themes of identity, relationships, and self-discovery. Unlike many actors who dabble in music, Hawke's releases were met with legitimate critical engagement. Reviews frequently emphasized her authenticity and poetic sensibility rather than celebrity novelty. Now, with a new album officially announced, the stakes are higher. Stranger Things is approaching its final chapter. The series has defined a generation of young actors, including Millie Bobby Brown, Finn Wolfhard, and Sadie Sink. As the franchise nears its conclusion, each cast member faces a defining question. What comes next? For Maya Hawke, the answer appears increasingly clear. Music. Breaking details. According to official statements shared across her verified platforms, Maya Hawke has confirmed the release of a new studio album, though specific track listings and collaborators remain limited at this stage. Reports suggest the album continues her signature introspective style, but may incorporate broader instrumentation and evolved production. Industry sources indicate that she has been working on the record over the past year, balancing studio sessions with filming commitments. Perhaps most intriguing is the announcement of an intimate San Francisco performance date. Not a stadium, not an arena, an intimate venue, the kind where audiences stand shoulder to shoulder, where lyrics can be heard without distortion, where vulnerability feels magnified. For an artist transitioning from global television fame, that choice matters. San Francisco has long held a special place in American music culture. From 1960s folk revival to modern indie movements, the city represents artistic authenticity and countercultural independence. Choosing that city for an intimate show signals intention. It suggests this is about music first, spectacle second. Ticket demand reportedly spiked within hours of announcement, according to venue sources. Social media posts show fans expressing excitement, with many praising her commitment to smaller, immersive performances rather than commercialized arena tours. No official comments from Netflix or Stranger Things producers have linked the album announcement to the series' timeline. However, entertainment analysts note that timing new creative projects around major show transitions is a common strategic move in Hollywood career management. But is this simply smart branding or something more? Expert analysis. From an industry perspective, Maya Hawke's pivot into music aligns with the broad social media explosion. Within hours of the announcement, Maya Hawke album began trending across multiple platforms. Fans flooded comment sections with messages celebrating her growth as an artist. Many referenced specific songs from earlier albums that helped them through difficult periods. Others expressed hope that new material would explore similar themes of vulnerability. At the same time, some viewers questioned whether the timing suggests a gradual shift away from Stranger Things. Discussions erupted across Reddit threads and entertainment Twitter, debating whether the final season will mark the cast's permanent divergence into separate careers. Importantly, the reaction appears overwhelmingly positive. Unlike some celebrity music launches that trigger skepticism, Hawke's fan base largely views her as already established in the indie music space. That distinction matters. What this means for the future. As Stranger Things approaches its conclusion, every cast member faces a career crossroads. For Maya Hawke, this album could serve as a defining statement, one that separates her trajectory from ensemble identity and positions her firmly within the American indie music landscape. If the album performs well critically and commercially, it may open doors to larger tours, festival appearances, and long-term recording contracts. It could also reshape public perception, shifting her primary identity from television star to musician-actor hybrid. In Hollywood, reinvention is survival, and Hawke appears to be planning carefully. Emotional human angle. Behind the headlines and industry strategy lies a more personal story. For years, Hawke has spoken about art as a means of processing emotion. Music offers something acting cannot: full authorship. When she writes lyrics, she controls the narrative. When she performs live in a small venue, she connects face-to-face with listeners. For young Americans navigating identity, ambition, and uncertainty, that authenticity resonates deeply. Fans often describe her songs as intimate conversations rather than polished pop productions. In an era defined by hyperproduction and digital perfection, imperfection feels revolutionary. And perhaps that is why this announcement carries emotional weight. It signals courage, the willingness to risk vulnerability outside the safety of an established TV role. Strong call to action. As this story continues to develop, as more album details emerge, as the San Francisco show approaches, and as Stranger Things prepares for its final chapter, we'll continue tracking every update. What do you think? Is this the beginning of Maya Hawke's next defining era? Will her music career eventually surpass her acting fame? And how do you feel about intimate venue performances in an era dominated by megatours? Join the conversation below. Share your thoughts, your favorite Maya Hawke tracks, and your predictions for what comes next. If you value in-depth, fact-based entertainment journalism with context and perspective, not just headlines, make sure you subscribe and stay with us. Because in Hollywood, the most important stories aren't always the loudest. Sometimes they're the quiet ones announced softly in a small San Francisco venue that end up changing everything. The announcement of a new album and an intimate San Francisco performance would be significant for any rising indie artist. But for someone whose face is globally recognized from one of Netflix's most successful series, the implications stretch much further. Because when an actor from Stranger Things makes a move like this, especially as the show approaches its final season, it's not simply a side project. It's a signal. And the question now echoing across entertainment circles is this: is Maya Hawke quietly preparing for life after Hawkins? To understand why this moment matters, we need to take a closer look at the ecosystem she's operating within. A franchise that reshaped streaming television, launched careers into the stratosphere, and created a generation of young actors now facing the most critical transition of their professional lives. When Stranger Things premiered in 2016, few could have predicted the cultural earthquake it would trigger. The series blended 1980s nostalgia with Spielberg-inspired wonder and Stephen King-style suspense, capturing audiences across political lines and age groups in the United States. It wasn't just a show, it became an American pop culture institution. Halloween costumes, memes, brand collaborations, late-night talk show appearances. The show saturated the mainstream. By the time Maya Hawke joined the cast in Season 3, the series was already a juggernaut. Her introduction as Robin Buckley was risky. Adding a new character to an already beloved ensemble can backfire. But Hawke's performance, quick-witted, emotionally layered, and refreshingly grounded, made Robin an instant standout. Critically, the character's coming-out moment was handled with nuance and care. In a media environment often criticized for tokenism, that storyline was widely praised for authenticity. It strengthened Hawke's reputation not only as a talented performer, but as someone capable of delivering emotionally resonant scenes. Yet while she was solidifying her place within one of America's biggest franchises, she was simultaneously laying the groundwork for a parallel identity: music. And not the glossy, radio-dominating pop often associated with celebrity crossovers. Instead, Hawke gravitated toward folk-inspired melodies, poetic lyrics, and stripped-down arrangements. Her previous albums demonstrated a clear creative vision, intimate storytelling rather than commercial bombast. Now, with this newly announced album, observers are noting something subtle but powerful. The tone of her career messaging has shifted. Industry insiders suggest that actors emerging from major franchises often face a strategic crossroads. Some double down on blockbuster roles, seeking another tentpole series or cinematic universe. Others pivot toward prestige film. A smaller number, often those with genuine artistic ambition outside acting, build parallel careers designed to sustain longevity beyond franchise fame. Choosing to debut new material in an intimate San Francisco setting feels less like a publicity stunt and more like a declaration. San Francisco itself carries symbolism. Historically associated with counterculture movements, folk revival, and artistic independence, the city's music venues have long served as proving grounds for artists prioritizing authenticity over spectacle. In an era when many performers chase viral moments on TikTok or massive stadium tours engineered for Instagram optics, Hawke's decision suggests a deliberate resistance to that formula. Reports indicate that the venue selected for the upcoming performance holds a modest capacity compared to major touring halls. That choice shapes the experience. Smaller venues amplify vulnerability. Every lyric is audible. Every pause matters. There's no hiding behind production effects. Entertainment analysts note that this approach can strengthen long-term fan loyalty. Instead of chasing scale, it builds community. Instead of chasing algorithms, it cultivates emotional connection. And that strategy aligns closely with Hawke's artistic persona. But this pivot also intersects with timing. Stranger Things is heading toward its final season. Netflix has confirmed that the fifth season will conclude the story. For the ensemble cast, this represents both closure and uncertainty. Millie Bobby Brown has expanded into film production and blockbuster roles. Finn Wolfhard has pursued music with his own band. Sadie Sink has taken on dramatic film and theater work. Each actor is carefully constructing a post-Stranger Things identity. From a financial standpoint, diversifying into music provides long-term flexibility. Acting careers can fluctuate dramatically. Music, particularly when rooted in songwriting, can sustain decades of relevance if audiences connect authentically. The key variable is credibility, and Hawke has spent years building that foundation quietly. Critics reviewing her earlier work often commented on lyrical introspection. Rather than leaning on vocal theatrics, she favors emotional texture. Rather than chasing mainstream pop structures, she leans into narrative songwriting reminiscent of 1970s American folk traditions. That lineage matters, because authenticity in music cannot be manufactured indefinitely. Audiences, especially younger Americans raised in the age of social media transparency, can detect insincerity quickly. So far, the response to this new album announcement suggests that fans believe in her artistic sincerity. Social media reactions reveal something notable. Fans aren't surprised she's releasing music. They're excited about what she'll say next. That distinction underscores an important point. Hawke has already been accepted as a legitimate musician in certain circles. However, scaling that legitimacy to broader audiences presents challenges. Breaking beyond the actor who sings label requires critical acclaim, consistent output, and live performance credibility. That brings us back to San Francisco. Intimate performances serve as testing grounds. They generate word-of-mouth buzz among core fans. They create shareable, emotionally powerful moments that circulate organically online. They allow artists to refine material before larger tours. Reports suggest ticket demand surged shortly after announcement. Though official sales figures haven't been publicly released, social media posts indicate rapid interest. Music industry experts often emphasize that venue selection communicates brand positioning. A 300-capacity club signals artistic closeness. A 10,000-seat arena signals commercial dominance. Hawke's choice suggests she's prioritizing craft over spectacle, at least for now. There's also the broader American entertainment climate to consider. In recent years, audiences have increasingly valued multidimensional artists. The rigid separation between film, television, and music has softened. Streaming platforms have blurred boundaries. Social media allows artists to cultivate direct relationships with fans across mediums. But that openness also raises stakes. Audiences expect excellence in each domain, not celebrity novelty. Which leads to a crucial question. Can Maya Hawke sustain dual excellence? From available evidence, she's attempting to do so carefully rather than explosively. There has been no oversaturation campaign, no aggressive media blitz, no headline-grabbing controversy. The rollout appears measured, allowing the art to speak rather than overwhelming audiences with hype. That restraint could prove strategically wise. Culturally, this moment also intersects with shifting perceptions of celebrity authenticity. Younger American audiences often gravitate toward artists who reveal vulnerability and emotional complexity. Hawke's songwriting themes, identity, relationships, internal conflict, align with those values. Meanwhile, traditional Hollywood trajectories often prioritize image control and brand polish. Hawke's music leans the opposite direction, toward emotional transparency. That tension between polish and vulnerability may define her next chapter. And then there is the emotional component tied to Stranger Things itself. For millions of Americans, the series represents a shared cultural memory. Family watch nights, pandemic binge sessions, communal suspense. The final season will likely trigger nostalgia and reflection. If Hawke's album release aligns closely with that farewell moment, the emotional resonance could amplify both projects. Fans processing the end of one chapter may seek connection through her music as she begins another. Strategically, timing matters. However, no official statement has linked the album's release date directly to the series' conclusion. Without confirmed schedules, observers can only note the broader alignment in trajectory. What remains undeniable is this: Maya Hawke stands at a pivotal career intersection. She carries the recognition of a global television phenomenon. She possesses an established, though still evolving, musical identity. She is entering a phase where choices will shape how American audiences perceive her for the next decade. Will she be remembered primarily as Robin Buckley? Or will her music redefine her legacy? That answer may begin unfolding on a small stage in San Francisco, under dim lights, in front of a tightly packed audience, where every lyric lands unfiltered. And as more details about the album surface, collaborators, themes, production direction, the picture will sharpen. For now, the announcement alone signals momentum. In Hollywood, transitions are rarely accidental. They are orchestrated. And this one feels deliberate. Stay with us, because in the next chapter, we'll dive deeper into the